Hello friends, it's Em and welcome back to another video. Today we are going over my October reads. And there were 23 of them, so nothing to scoff at. I had a fair number of books that I really enjoyed in October, and let's get into them. First was The Mistletoe Motive by Chloe Lisa, and this is a You've Got Mail retelling, very holiday themed novella. And honestly, I was pretty happy with like how the beats went in this. Usually I find that novellas are very rushed, or that like I want more. And while I would have happily taken more, don't get me wrong, I did feel like the pacing was really good. And so it's literally You've Got Mail, except that they both work at the independent bookstore. It isn't a like big box sort of situation. Then I read All This and More by Peng Shepherd. Read that with my mom. Melody Herzog is my most frequent buddy reader. This is like a what if choose your own adventure sort of situation where like you can go back in time in your own life with this quantum bubble and make different decisions. And so while at first it starts out, everything seems kind of normal, you start to notice some discrepancies, I would say. And how those, shake out is partially up to you as you get to choose your own adventure. But it's just really lovely. If you don't like the format, I don't think you're going to like the book. But I really love Choose Your Own Adventures, so of course I loved it. Then I read Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young, and it was everything, literally everything. This is a kind of like a marriage in crisis would be the trope, but it's really more of a speed bump and kind of a moment to realize what you want and what your priorities are, and working on, communicating with your spouse. It is beautiful and lovely, and I think everyone should read it. I promise you that there's never a danger of them getting a divorce, and that's clear. It's all just sort of internal. But it was really great, really spicy. I also read the sequel by, I think it's like John Korolitz something. I don't know. But this is the sequel to The Plot. So if you haven't read The Plot, you should not read the sequel. But if you read The Plot a while ago, you can just start. You'll remember things very, very quickly. I don't want to spoil too much if you haven't read The Plot, but it focuses on Jake's wife, and she is being blackmailed for something. And she's trying to figure out who's blackmailing her, all while also writing and publishing her own novel. I also read and really enjoyed Dating and Dragons. This is by Kirsty Boyce, one of those. I don't know. I don't remember. I barely remember the titles, let alone the authors. But this is a very, it's Critical Role-esque, where they're doing a Dungeons and Dragons streaming show. And she left her old school because she wanted to be closer to her grandma, but also because she was having issues with her old D&D group. And it seems like these issues are following her. But moreover, her new D&D group has a no dating policy. And obviously, this is going to be a problem because she's really attracted to the guy she sits next to. Ooh. And then finally, I read 3 out of the 4 of the Ember in the Ashes series this month, which is huge. That is a big chunk of books. That is some serious bookage being consumed. And oh my God, I cannot believe that I've just been sleeping on these. I thought that people were like, oh yeah, I really like it. But I was like, okay, well, I don't know. But I asked my esthetician what she thought of them, and she was completely and utterly obsessed with them. And we tend to have similar taste when it comes to fantasy books. We both really loved Bride, which I feel like is pretty universal, but whatever. So the first book follows Elias and Laia, as there's a conflict between two rival factions, the Marshals and the Scholars, and Laia is not unfortunately, but sort of against her will, forced into the Scholars' Rebellion and sent to infiltrate the Marshals' school, or sort of like castle, citadel, whatever. And Elias is one of these great fighters for the Marshals who has been sort of having doubts about whether this is what he wants to do for the rest of his life. And that's the first book, and it just keeps going. It gets deeper and darker, and there's more political intrigue and drama and plot twists that I didn't see coming, and it is delightful. If you start the first one and you get halfway and you're like, man, I really like this, you should immediately put in holds for the second, third, and fourth books, because you are not going to want to wait. You might need like a little fluffy rom-com in between to sort of help with the come down. But it is freaking fabulous. Like, it's all I want to talk about right now. I'm just like, have you read Ember in the Ashes? Have you read Ember in the Ashes? All right. Now, I will say my NetGalley stats have been pretty okay. I'm still at 95% ratio. We're still in the 30s when it comes to unreads, but I have hope that maybe soon, eventually, kind of, I'll get back into the 20s. It might be delusion. I'm honestly not sure. But, I have 685 approved on NetGalley, so I've got a little bit of a margin. Let me know what your favorite book that you read in October was, and as always, happy planning.